Hello, students. Today I'm going to take you through the next project, and so you have a clear understanding of what we're trying to get done. Uh, what we're going to do is another design project using the process that we used before, which is to understand the problem, define it, come up with ideas, create prototypes, do testing, and then refine the design. So that's the overview. There's I think a dozen slides in this deck, but most of them are instructional. About half of them. So please don't be overwhelmed with the number of slides. So, the first step is to understand. During this step, you'll use empathy to learn about problems that people are facing. To understand a problem and why it matters to others, it's important to lean into your curiosity and ask questions. What do others feel? What clues show you what others feel? What words or images describe those feelings? So, I've consolidated the problem solving method we use during weeks 6 and 7 into one slide deck. Assuming you are an inventor working with an environmental scientist. Assume you are an inventor working with an environmental scientist. The scientist wants to provide inexpensive tools to student groups to clean local waterways, forests, and open fields. Use the process to design one device. This is a solo project. So I provided three videos that will give you a whole host of problems, environmental problems that you can consider, or you no doubt are aware of a number of your own. The idea here is to come up with five different environmental problems and just simply list them. And then down here in part B, for each one of these, so for the very first one here, I want you to complete the sentence. Scientist needs an environmental protection tool that is blank because blank, and that would pertain to I. And then double I, you're going to have another problem, and double I here, you're going to fill in this sentence to address this particular problem. Okay, so that's all you need to do on that slide is get five problems identified and get a show an understanding of what those problems are about by completing part B. Then step two, define the problem or needs. During this step, you try to connect the feelings you discover people had to the problem they need to solve. Use language that is positive and shows empathy for the people experiencing the problem. Remember, you're trying to walk in their shoes. Having a positive approach will help you focus on finding a creative solution. So in the previous step, you created a profile of the environmental scientist and a list of five needs. Review those needs and choose one of them to focus. Describe 3 to 5 attributes that the tool should have in order to meet that need. For each description of your need, use the starter. This tool needs to be, and then fill in the blank. So we need 5 of them there. Then the next step is to come up with ideas. Write down as many ideas as possible for designing the measuring tool to solve the problem that you defined earlier. Follow these guidelines. And remember, this is a solo project. In the center of a large, well, I'm not going to read these. I'm just going to go right to the next slide. And this we've seen before. So here you're going to list those five needs that you had on the previous slide, and just cut and paste them, put them here, and then I want you to write down ideas that would solve those needs. So this is just a template. You can add more ideas. You can add more arrows. You can move the arrows around so that the ideas could solve possibly a couple of the needs. But what we want to do here is to get a picture, a brainstorm of ideas that would solve those needs. So the next step. So for this step, you create models that could solve the problem. Not everything you create will work well. You need to test your solution ideas and make sure and note what works well and what doesn't work well. You'll find out that an idea you had doesn't work. Take the time to discover why it failed and then use what you find to improve on the next version. So this is going to be your first version. And like before, for the prototype, I want you to sketch your idea. On the sketch, I want you to start putting additional information, like put the name of the solution on here. What's it going to be made out of, and give me a sense of size. You can use inches or millimeters or centimeters, metric or imperial, in terms of your units. and any other pertinent information. I also want you to sign this document and date it so that you make basically a record of your design. And then go to Tinkercad and make your design as a 3D solid. And as before, I want you to post a couple of screenshots showing a couple of different views of your design. And then later on, we'll get into refinement of the design. So right now, I want you to focus on steps 1 through 4, and you'll have until next Wednesday to get those steps completed. Thank you much.